Got a bit of a personal favourite to play today. This one's Cigarettes and Alcohol. So let's start by having a look at the introduction. It's going to sound like this. So we're going to be starting this at the 2nd fret of the A string, with the open E there as well, our classic kind of rock E power chord. We're going to palm mute it a little bit, and we're going to play it twice, and then play the 4th fret of the A, again with the open E in there as well. And then we're going to do that another time, except the E5, we're going to play that 3 times instead of 2. And then we're going to move over to a dyad. We're going to play the 2nd fret of the A and 2nd fret of the D together. We're going to play that, and then we're going to play it another time. And then we're going to do something weird. We're going to go 4th fret of the A, 2nd fret of the A, then open E, 3rd fret of the E, 2nd fret, and then back to our E power chord to start the riff over again. Sounds a bit odd when I play it like that. With the full riff, it sounds like this. We're going to play that 3 times round, and on the 3rd and final time, instead of doing our rundown to start the riff over again, instead of doing that, we're just going to stay on the E5 a little bit. Because we're going to switch over to F sharp, and then we're going to do this really cool riff. So we're going to be all the way up at the 13th fret of the G and 12th fret of the B. And then we're going to move it down to the 10th fret of the B and 9th fret of the G. And then if we want to, we can either leave it as is and go into the power chord, or we can hammer on our ring finger to the 11th fret of the G and then go into the power chord. You can do that either way. No one's going to notice if you miss out that one particular note. Up to you whether you include that or not. Moving on into the E riff. You're going to hear this quite a lot in the song, so it's probably worth noting the rhythm for it. It's going to sound like this. So like I said, we're riffing on the E power chord there, with the open E in there as well. And then we're going to be going from the 3rd fret of the E, 2nd fret, and then open, and back to the power chords. And then we're going to finish off with this little motif. And for that, I'm just moving over an E major all the way up to the 14th fret. I'm hammering on my pinky finger there to the 14th fret of the G and taking it off again. I've seen other people play it as borrowing the 9th fret and playing it like this. And that will be using our D, G and B strings and then hammering on our middle finger to the 10th fret of the B and then our ring finger to the 11th fret of the D. And that's another nice idea. It sounds like this. Up to you which way round you play it. There's just a couple of ideas for you. So let's talk about the verse then, and there's a couple of different ways you can play it. It incorporates essentially all the things we've already learned in the introduction, just kind of mashed together a little bit. It sounds like this. So running it through then, we're going to be doing a bit of our introduction like we know. And we don't have to be so palm-muted on that one, we can play a bit more open. Going into our F sharp, which we know. Now our riff all the way up at the 13th and 12th frets. Into the E power chord. Now a little motif either, or however you prefer doing it. We're now going to take a look at the pre-chorus guitar. It's going to sound like this. So we're going to be starting this with an open A string and the 2nd fret of the D. So our A5 chord, playing the notes in unison. After we do that, we're going to bring over our middle finger to the 3rd fret of the A and we're going to bend it down and pull off twice. After that, we're going to bring our middle finger over to the 3rd fret of the E string this time, and we're going to bend it down, and as we pull it off, we're going to transition into our E5 chord. Just like that. It's then going to be followed up by this riff. And to do that, we're going to be playing an open E, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 2nd fret of the D, open E, bending on the 3rd fret of the E, and then transitioning back into the beginning of the riff again. We're going to do that a few times round and then finish off with a D5 and then an A, which will take us nicely into the chorus. The chorus is a nice easy one, sounds like this. So we've got E major, D5, A major. And the thing to note with this, if you want, instead of playing them just straight chords, you can add in your pinky finger to that 3rd fret of the B there, bend it up a little bit, and then play the open E after, and then into D5, and then the A major, and you'll notice there I'm most of the time playing the B note first. For our post-chorus riff then, it's going to sound like this. So what we're doing is we're bending up on the 11th fret of the G, bringing it down and landing on the 9th fret. Same thing on the 6th fret of the G. This time landing obviously at the 4th fret of the G. And then sliding down to the 1st fret, letting it ring out. And then we can hammer on to the 2nd fret and play the open E. And then we can pull it off back to the 1st fret. We can catch the little B string in there as well, makes it sound a little bit more full. And we can repeat that twice. The chords behind that are going to be a C9 chord, which is our 3rd fret of the A, 2nd fret of the D, and we've got our 3rd fret of the G. And then we're going to B7, which is the same thing but down 1 fret. And then we're going to add in the open B and then 2nd fret of the E as well. And from there we can go into our introduction as our rhythm guitar. So let's take a look at the solo section. We're going to split it up into two parts, and the first part is going to sound like this. Starting with phrase number 1 then, we're going to be in at the 9th fret of the A, hammering on to the 11th fret, and then we're going to be bringing our index finger back to bar the D, G and B strings, back at that 9th fret. It's going to be quite familiar territory now, and we're going to play that a couple of times, and then we're going to hammer on our middle finger to the 10th fret of our B and our ring finger at the 11th of the D. And so you can see that I'm hammering it on and then playing it by itself again. And then we're going to play this little line. Simply bending up on the 11th fret of the G, then landing on the 9th fret, letting it ring out for just a moment, and then hammering on pull off to the 11th fret. Phrase number 2 is going to sound like this. And so you can see I'm doing the exact same thing again to start. 9th fret of the A, hammering on to the 11th, and then our little riff that we know. And then the second line is going to go like this. We're going to bend up and down on the 11th of the G, play the 9th of the E, and then go back to that 11th of the G, but we're going to pull it off to the 9th fret, and then again let it ring out for a moment, and then hammer on and pull off to the 11th fret, which will take us into phrase number 3. And phrase number 3 is exactly the same as the first one. Same bits, same rhythm, same everything. I'm moving on to phrase number 4 then. Once again playing that riff, and then simply finishing by bending up on the 11th fret of the G, up and down 4 times. Either playing it once and bending it 4 times, or playing it twice. However you prefer doing it. Slowly, all together, we've got this. When we come out of our solo part 1, we're going to go into a little chord section, which is obviously going to be our kind of chorus chords. E, D, and A. And we've also got this little kind of bit of guitar going on as well in the background. And that's quite an interesting part. It's things we already know. Again, at the 9th fret, got our D, G and B. Then we've got hammering on our middle finger at the 10th fret of the B, ring finger 11th of the D. Then taking that shape down 2 frets. And we're going to play it the opposite way around. So our middle and ring fingers are already going to be on the fretboard. And we're going to take them off. And then down to A. The important thing to note with this is that we want to emphasise that it's an E, not an A. Same thing again with this one, I want to emphasise that it's a D and not a G. something just to be mindful of with that one. Let's take a look at part 2 of the solo. It sounds like this. So we're going to be playing unison bends at the 14th and 12th frets. Don't be afraid to add in the open E there every now and then as well. It's not a bad idea. So we're going to do 2 bends. Then we're going to play the 14th fret unbent, then 12th fret. Then we're going to go over to the 14th fret of the D, back to the 12th fret of the G, then back to the 14th fret of the D, 12th fret, and we're going to climb back up, 14th fret of the D, 12th of the G, 14th fret. I know that sounds a bit odd when I say it like that. It makes a bit more sense when I play it slowly. I'll do that again. And phrase number 2 is going to sound like this. Simply doing another 2 unison bends, then 14th fret unbent, 12th fret, and then for this next part we've got a couple options. I like to play it as 3rd fret of the B, then open E, then 2nd fret of the B, open E. You can also play it as 7th fret of the G, and also 12th fret of the D. It's up to you which round you like to play it. Anyway, the whole solo is going to finish by repeating that phrase 2. Anyway, the whole solo is going to finish by playing a variation of our phrase 2. that's been my lesson on cigarettes and alcohol. As always, if you've ever got any suggestions, hit me up in the comments section. You know, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and obviously YouTube comment section. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will see you next time.